of God. We are qualitatively one with him. But that relationship, which is factually and realistically understood as the relationship with the very minute, with the unlimited great, and ultimately one of the greatest aspects of the great is that he gives a complete, unique, individual, loving relationship with countless infinitesimal jivas, namely ourselves. So Krishna distributes himself to us, the forgetful souls in this material world, by coming as the acharya, the spiritual master, the pure devotee, who, just like the ambassador or viceroy, has the full authority of the country and the sovereignty that he's representing, and those who he's going to visit should pay him the same respect, and even more, because unlike the mundane example of the viceroy or the ambassador, because he is the most dear and confidential servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His pure, loving devotion, bhakti, is aroused to such an extent that not only is he fully empowered with all potencies that Krishna will avail to the pure devotees in the spiritual world, but even more, Krishna is so much attracted to that pure devotee's devotion that Krishna will accept whatever that devotee sets as a standard for his disciples and followers. So until Srila Prabhupada came, there was absolutely no pure devotional service available anywhere in the world, save and except in a few holy places in India. But pure devotional service, pure love of Godhead, is available for everyone, all over the universe. And so tomorrow, this is no coincidence, we are celebrating this most high of all holy special days, the appearance of Krishna, Krishna Jamnastami. And the day after Astami, Janmastami, 8th day, is Nandotsava. Krishna appeared at midnight. So his birth was announced and the festival was on the next day. On the 9th day, this is when Srila Prabhupada appeared. On the day of the festival celebrating Krishna Janmastami. So we invite everyone to continue whatever you have to do, rearrange your schedule, play hooky from school, get out of work, whatever it is. Be with us here tomorrow to celebrate this most blessed event, the appearance day of Srila Prabhupada. And to give you a little hint and taste and feeling of Srila Prabhupada's appearance, in his own words, this was spoken in Washington, D.C. in July 1976 during Srila Prabhupada's last tour of the United States. He just come from New Vrindavan. Then he went to Washington, D.C., and guess where he went next? I'll give you a hint. Jagannath Rath Yatra. That's right. Rameshwar Prabhu. Okay, very good. He was a personal witness to this and participant intimately in this great and important historical fact. So his movement had, we could say, practically speaking, matured and grew to such a great extent. Even, I think, as Guinness Book of World Records, those who became successful incredibly over the age of 70. So Srila Prabhupada, just 10 years earlier, living in poverty, in obscurity, in danger, in the Bowery. So much can be said about that. And now he has a skyscraper building in Midtown Manhattan, just north of the Broadway Theater District. And he has a secure parade permit down the most important street in the most important city in the world, Fifth Avenue, and with a festival set up for the whole day in the most prestigious park in New York, the heart of Greenwich Village, Washington Square Park, where still to this day, some 48 years later, it is continuing. So he spoke these words in Washington, D.C. This was at the occasion of the 10th anniversary of the incorporation of ISKCON, which happened by people who had no commitment or no idea what they were signing, scrolling their names on the floor at 26 Second Avenue, creating the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Prabhupada says, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, my only duty is to execute the order of my spiritual master. I do not mind whether I'm going to hell or going back to home. No, my only life and soul is to execute the order of my spiritual master. He is explained like that. So devotional service is a great responsibility to execute the order of the superior. Then our life is successful. So Srila Prabhupada, Jai. Hare Krishna. We're so fortunate that by coming to the temple, and what to speak of residing here, as I've been able to do most of my life, I get the opportunity to be garlanded with the direct flower garland from Srimati Radharani or Lord Krishna himself. Amazing. Otherwise, so Srila Prabhupada saying in Los Angeles, yes, Rameshwar Prabhu. Do we have a mic? Where's that handheld microphone? Using it as a microphone.
Only deity that he ever put on the cover of Srimad Bhagavatam second canto ever. No other deities are on the cover of a Srimad Bhagavatam volume except Sri Radha Govinda Ji. That's how special these deities are.
And of course, Radha Govinda are the deities of Srila Rupa Goswami, who is the chief disciple of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When will Srila Rupa Goswami, who has established the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya in this world, give me shelter under his lotus feet? So Srila Prabhupada is named Radha Govinda, the Sri Sri Radha New York Ishvar, the supreme Ishvar and Ishvari of New York City, the presiding deities, the most powerful deities who can, they say, harness this big bad city just like a bull on the nose and have it obey. So they are the most powerful deities.
It should also be noted, since Krishna's appearance, Krishna appeared to speak Bhagavad Gita, that the Bhagavad Gita was published under their direction back in 1972. ISKCON Press had moved
That's right.
the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha Govinda. They are the givers of the Bhagavad Gita to the whole planet Earth. Sri Sri Radha Govinda Ji.
What did Arjuna say? O Govinda, I shall not fight. So Govinda is his dearmost friend. He's relating to Krishna as Govinda. And Govinda, he told Arjuna, get it together and do your duty, basically speaking. That is Radha Govinda. They are in charge of Abhideya Vigyan Tattva, which means when you understand who you are, what is your relationship with Krishna, what is your duty, and execute that duty. So it's interesting, Srila Prabhupada had a completed Bhagavad Gita manuscript in India, but mysteriously it vanished and or it was stolen. And Srila Prabhupada, he compiled the Bhagavad Gita in the Upper West Side, West 72nd Street, between October 1965 and April of 1966, when he finally moved downtown, first to Bowery for 2 months and then to 26 Second Avenue. And by then, there was some more people helping him. Even Allen Ginsberg, the beat kind of avant-garde poet, was a writer, and he had a publishing company publishing whatever he wrote. Even he was unable to. But when Prabhupada recorded the Happening album, the Hare Krishna chanting album, we're all familiar with it, in December in 1966, which was done at the Adelphi Recording Studios on West 46th Street, just near Times Square, where we do our Harinam in Times Square when we get the permit. So, send in $3 and we'll mail you a copy. So Brahmananda, the de facto temple president, whose office was the front window of the storefront, the temple president's office, he got a letter from Macmillan Company that they wanted the record. And he flew up to Srila Prabhupada and said, well, Macmillan, you should go up to Macmillan. They have a skyscraper building in the 50s, like near Grand Central, and you hand deliver the record. Yeah, and then you tell them that you have a Bhagavad Gita that you want to publish. Well, should I say anything about you, the author? No. I mean, should I bring the manuscript? No. You just say you have a Bhagavad Gita you want to publish. Okay, and he's completely incredulous. We've tried so many different ways. Nobody wanted to publish it. It's too much Krishna consciousness. It's too religious. They want to have like scholarly annotations, this, that, the other thing, make it appealing. So he goes to Macmillan, and the person...
He had no feeling that this was going to be successful.
That's right.
He was so doubtfully following orders.
Right. So the person wanting the record album was just a clerk, an accountant in the office counting numbers, having nothing to do with editorial publishing decisions. And Brahmananda was just so crestfallen. He went in there with a suit and tie, went up there and like he's trying to be nice, tell the man about Krishna consciousness, chanting Hare Krishna, and he's thinking, oh. And all of a sudden, this really big personality came in, and the clerk just kind of jumped to attention, and he said, he introduced Brahmananda, Mr. Sharf, Mr. Bruce Sharf, Brahmananda. This is Mr. James Wade, one of our senior editors. And just as if possessed by supernatural powers, overcoming his hesitancy and his lack of faith, he's shaking the man's hand, looks right in the man's eye and says, I have a Bhagavad Gita I want to publish. And this Mr. James Wade, big, high-class person, elderly person, in his 50s by that time. Really? A Bhagavad Gita? Complete? Yes. Written by a Swami from India? Yes. Right here in New York? Yes. Well, that's just what we want to complete our religion. We already have the Torah, we have the Quran, we have the I Ching, but we don't have a Bhagavad Gita. We'll publish it. And Brahmananda flew back down to 26 Second Avenue and burst into Prabhupada's room completely, and he was just so excited, and Prabhupada didn't show the least bit of elation. It's like he completely expected it. So all of that here in New York City. So we've talked about Srila Prabhupada. Now we want to talk about Krishna.
Four paintings, and they were completed between Boston and here
In Brooklyn, just nearby here. For those of you who don't know, Rameshwar Prabhu is one of the he's a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, obviously. And he was taken into Prabhupada's confidence to help, which was his most dear and most important to Srila Prabhupada, the translating, printing, and distribution of Srila Prabhupada's books all over the world, which is actually ordered by his spiritual master in the very last letter, December 1936. Check this out. I think that you should present the novel ideas of our philosophy to those not conversant with the language of the already established members. So if those are just like Hindi and Bengali and Oriyan speakers, the others who are not conversant with those three Indian languages, to my mind, that means everybody, the whole world, and all world languages. not just preach in English. So we see how Srila Prabhupada wanted all of his books published in every language of the world. So Rameshwar Prabhu, still to this day, is very much burning with that instruction and trying to execute it with his heart and soul. Thank you very much. That's right. On the other hand, that literature, which is filled with the name, fame, form, qualities, and descriptions of the unlimited Supreme Lord, is a different creation meant to bring about a what? Revolution in the lives of this world's misdirected civilization. Such literature will be heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. So Srila Prabhupada's coming and his massive book distribution, printing, translating, distributing, was predicted by Narada Muni to Srila Vyasadeva, who instructed him to write the Srimad Bhagavatam 5,000 years ago at the dawn of this Kali Yuga. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bharati bharata abhutanam. Our glasses went missing. They're here. So, under the yes. We have Narada Muni Das, who is always there to save me from embarrassment. Thank you. Whenever and wherever there is the decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. The word Srijami is significant here. Srijami cannot be used in the sense of creation because according to the previous verse, what is the previous verse? Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. So main understanding Krishna's birth, it's an appearance. It's not like we take our birth in this material world, but under the laws and under the force of nature. It's completely divine, and it's based completely on Krishna's inscrutable sweet will. And ultimately, as we hear, the main reason why Krishna appears is for pleasure meeting and reunion with his devotees, which is the only thing that Krishna is interested in. Everything else that's necessary for upkeep of the cosmic manifestation, he has 33 million demigods at his disposal to do whatever he wants. So Krishna can simply play his flute. Mainam kvanantam aravinda dalaya taksham. And Lord Shiva, one of the most powerful demigods, who many people mistake to be supreme and worship him exclusively, or equate equally to be with Lord Vishnu, out of their, what is the motivation that makes them do such a thing? It is material desire, ultimately. So Lord Shiva, it's a very important chapter, 24 of the fourth canto. It's even called Chanting the Song sung by Lord Shiva. He's addressing the Lord directly. I wish to see you exactly in the form that your very dear devotees worship. You have many other forms, but I wish to see your form that is especially loved by the devotees. Please be merciful upon me and show me that form. For only that form, worshipped by the devotees, can perfectly satisfy all the demands of the senses and desires of one's heart. Lord Shiva wants to see that form which is very dear to the devotees. Only the devotees are very, very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Jnanis, Yogis, and Karmis are not particularly dear. Krishna is known as Bhakta Vatsal. Has everyone ever heard that name before? It means he's very affectionate. Have you ever heard Krishna referred to as Karmi Vatsala, Jnani Vatsala, or Yogi Vatsala? No, we have not. And Prabhupada explains, the Jnanis, Yogis, and Karmis are not particularly dear, for the Karmis simply want to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead as their order supplier. Gimme, gimme, I want, I want. I did this, now I expect that. The jnanis want to see him to become one with him. And the yogis want to see him partially represented within their heart as Paramatma and or get mystic powers. But the bhaktas or devotees want to see him in his complete perfection. Vainam kvanantam aravinda dalayataksham barharvatam samasitam buddha sundarangam kandarpa koti kamaniya vishesha sobham govindam adipursham tamaham bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who was adept at playing on his flute. That's the only thing that Krishna has to do. Or because he wants to do it. He wants to take care of the cowherd, of the cows, the Sarabi cows. He wants to play with the cowherd boys. He wants to have intimate conjugal relationship with the gopis. Why does he do it? Because he wants to do it. He loves to do it. No other reason. Why is Krishna blue? Prabhupada said, because he likes to be blue. Why does he wear a peacock feather in his turban? Because he likes to. Whose eyes are blooming like lotus petals, whose head is bedecked with peacock feathers, whose beauty is tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and whose unique loveliness charms millions of cupids, Kandarpa. One cupid bewilders the whole material world in lustful attraction. But Krishna, he enchants and bewilders countless millions upon millions of such cupids. And 2 weeks from today, we will celebrate the appearance of Madan, Mohan, Mohini, Srimati Radharani, the Supreme Mahalakshmi, goddess of fortune, who bewilders the mind or attracts the mind of he who bewilders millions and millions of cupids. And that bewilderment and attraction is based on Mahabhav, pure devotional service to the highest degree. Silence your cell phone. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Thus, Lord Shiva's desire is to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as he described this in this way to the Bhagavats, the devotees. The conclusion is that Lord Shiva wants to see him in complete perfection and not in an impersonalist or voidist way. Although the Lord is one in his various forms, Advaitam, Achyutam, Anandam, Anantarupam, still his form as the young enjoyer of the gopis and companion of the cowherd boys, Kishora Murti, is the most perfect form. Thus, Vaishnavas accept the form of the Lord in his Vrindavan pastimes as his chief form. So the worship of Radha and Krishna is the highest form of worship, never to be equated with any other type of worship. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the combined form of Radha and Krishna, came to teach that Krishna is supreme over Vishnu. He converted many Sri Vaishnavas who didn't understand the ultimate conclusion of Krishna consciousness towards that understanding. And again, Rameshwar Prabhu, we listened to your memory on Siddhanta, that the idea of changing the cover of Sri Ishopanishad to have a picture of Krishna was not approved by Srila Prabhupada, who wanted Sri Vishnu, who now, by the great artistic work of one very nice devotee, Yamuna Priti, if you look on the side of the building, if you're walking from the Skimmerhorn Street station, cross the other side of the street by the Holiday Inn, and you'll get a full view of Sri Vishnu from Sri Ishopanishad adorning our building with the halo of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra around his head. That scholars and people in general, scholastic people, they don't understand that Krishna is supreme over Vishnu. So they will not take this book seriously, but if I put Vishnu on the cover, they will. But if you read Sri Ishopanishad, actually the preface says, the nectar that brings one nearer to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Paritranaya sarunam, vinashaya traduskritam, dharma samstapanataya, Sambhavama Yuge Yuge. To deliver the pious and annihilate the miscreants, as well as to reestablish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. According to the Bhagavad Gita, a sadhu, or holy person, is a person in Krishna consciousness. A person may appear to be irreligious, but if he has the qualifications of Krishna consciousness wholly and fully, he is understood to be a sadhu. A duskritam applies to those who do not care for Krishna consciousness. Such miscreants or duskritans are described as foolish and lowest of mankind, even though they may be decorated with mundane education. Whereas a person who is 100% engaged in Krishna consciousness is accepted as a sadhu, even though such a person may be neither learned nor well cultured. As far as the atheistic are concerned, it is not necessary for the Supreme Lord to appear as he is to destroy them, as he did with demons like Ravana and Kamsa. The Lord has many agents who are quite competent to vanquish demons, but the Lord especially descends to appease his unalloyed devotees who are always harassed by the demoniac. The demon harass the devotee, even though the latter may happen to be his kin. Although Prahlad Maharaj was the son of Hiranyakashipu, he was nonetheless persecuted by his father. Although Devaki, the mother of Krishna, was the sister of Kamsa, she and her husband Vasudeva were persecuted only because Krishna was to be born of them. So Lord Krishna appeared primarily to deliver Devaki rather than kill Kamsa, but both were performed simultaneously. Therefore it is said that to deliver the devotee and vanquish the demon miscreants, the Lord appears in different incarnations. There are various kinds of avatars, incarnations, such as Purusha avatars, Guna avatars, Leela avatars, Shakyavesha avatars, Manvantar avatars, and Yuga avatar, all appearing on schedule all over the universe. But Lord Krishna is the primeval Lord, the fountainhead of all incarnations. Lord Sri Krishna descended for the specific public purpose of mitigating the anxieties of the pure devotees who are very anxious to see him in his original Vrindavan pastimes. So Vrindavan on this earth planet, earthly Vrindavan, Bhoma Vrindavan, was the renovation and brought back to life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who deputed his immediate Goswamis and their followers to renovate Vrindavan's lost glories. And Srila Prabhupada was, along with his huge and incredible portfolio of what he was to do, also was to bring to life in a very vibrant and powerful way the glories of Vrindavan. Actually, Srila Prabhupada in Los Angeles, he declared as early as 1970, my Western world headquarters. He was completely happy and ready to stay there for the rest of his life, but circumstances came about that Krishna was ordering him to go back to India, and having a loving argument, tug of war, or discussion with the deities of Los Angeles. If you ever go to Los Angeles, amongst the many glories of the devotional service performed by Srila Prabhupada and his disciples in this most incredible place, 3764 Watsika Avenue, Los Angeles, California, 934 zip code, was that Krishna ordered Srila Prabhupada to go back to India. And if you do, I will give you a temple by far superior to this Watsika Boulevard temple, and that is the Krishna Balaram Mandir, which it is understood that this temple has completely renovated Vrindavan's lost glories and made Vrindavan world famous. All came from Los Angeles, that order. Shri Rukmini Dwarkadish. We don't get into it, but there was a story that they were originally called Radha and Krishna, but the names were changed. Anyway, he did. Okay. The Lord says that he incarnates himself in every millennium. This indicates that he incarnates also in the age of Kali. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the incarnation in the age of Kali is the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who spread the worship of Krishna by, in Dwapara Yuga, the Yuga Dharma was temple worship. Not that that is erased or not applicable, but especially emphasized and important. Prabhupada says it is the mainstay for the Narayana Parayana devotee. The worship of the Lord in Kali Yuga is via the Sankirtan movement, the congregational chanting of the holy name of Krishna. He, Lord Chaitanya, spread Krishna consciousness throughout India, and he predicted that this culture of Sankirtan, so in other words, the culture of Sankirtan, chanting of the holy name, even Lord Chaitanya says, awakens all varieties of devotional service, and not just awakens, but continues to energize and grow it more and more. Just like, look at yourself. If you wouldn't chant your prescribed number of rounds a day, what would your consciousness be individually? So collectively, if we don't emphasize and put into its rightful place of dignity in the forefront of Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya's movement, the chanting, public distribution of the holy names to those who are our would-be devotee godbrothers and godsisters out there who are lost under the grip of the illusory energy and forgetfulness of who they are and what is their duty in this human form of life, then the movement consciousness is not going to be very good. Just like our consciousness will not be very good if we don't participate and distribute the Sankirtan movement to ourselves initially. One time Srila Prabhupada was challenged by a hippie after a very wonderful chanting in the temple. I believe it was San Francisco. And the hippie said, "What will this chanting do for the world?" And the hippie had really liked the kirtan. He was dancing in ecstasy, and he just got caught up in the whole everything. And Prabhupada said, did you like the chanting? Yes. Are you not of the world? Or part of the world? Yes. Then chant loudly. Lord Chaitanya, as the incarnation of Krishna, the personality of Godhead, is described secretly, but not directly, in the confidential parts of the revealed scriptures, such as the Upanishads, Mahabharata, and Srimad Bhagavatam. The devotees of Lord Krishna are very much attracted to the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya. This avatar of the Lord, Parichanaya Sarunam Vinashai Duskritam, kills the demons, does not kill the miscreants, but delivers them by his causeless mercy. So Krishna appeared in the prison house of Kamsa in the middle of the night, and Yogamaya put all the guards to sleep, and Devaki and Vasudeva are offering their prayers. And Devaki says, "Oh my Lord, proprietor of all creation, you have now appeared in my house, designed to protect this world." Or perhaps this is Vasudeva's prayer. "I am sure that you will kill all the armies that are moving all over the world under the leadership of politicians who are dressed as Kshatriyas, rulers, but who are factually demons. They must be killed by you, the protection of the innocent public. Prabhupada's purport, which was written some 47 years ago, but I think we can all bring it on home, what we're about to hear, and apply it right now, this very minute, today, to what's going on. Listen carefully. Krishna appears in this world for two purposes: paritranaya sadhanam, vinashaya traduskatam, to protect the innocent religious devotees. We could also include that to the people in general, good-hearted people in general. And to annihilate all the uneducated, uncultured asuras who unnecessarily bark like dogs and fight among themselves for political power. It is said, Kali Kale Nam Rup Krishna Avatar. The Hare Krishna movement is also an incarnation of Krishna in the form of the holy names, Nama Rupe. Every one of us who is actually afraid of the asuric rulers and politicians must welcome this incarnation of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then we will surely be protected from the harassment of asuric rulers. At the present moment, these rulers are so powerful that by hook or by crook, not just like a pirate peg leg, but by crook, criminal activity, right? They capture the highest posts in government and harass countless numbers of people on the plea of national security or some emergency, or some gaslighting word jugglery. Then again, one asura defeats another asura, but the public continues to suffer. Therefore, the entire world is in a precarious condition, and the only hope is this Hare Krishna movement. It is said from spiritual well-being automatically comes all varieties of desired material well-being. Lord Nrsingadev appeared when Prahlad was excessively harassed by his asuric father. Because of such asuric fathers, that is the ruling politicians, it is very difficult to press forward the Hare Krishna movement. Because Krishna has now appeared in his holy name, through this movement, we can hope that these asuric followers will be annihilated and the kingdom of God established all over the world. Rameshwar Prabhu, please. Right.
And how rare and unfortunate everyone in this room that we happen to be in a human body in this moment in time during the time of Krishna, nearly 5,000 years ago.
And Lord Chaitanya appeared 500 years. Prabhupada writes in the first canto, within the memory of everyone, Lord Chaitanya appeared in this age of iron industry. So you should remember where you were and what you were doing 536 years ago. And with the Senapata Bhakta, the predicted one, 5,000 years ago, and again 500 years before, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, both predicted Srila Prabhupada's coming. On the day he was born, the astrological reading, this child at the age of 70 will cross the ocean, become a great exponent of religion, and open 108 temples. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, at the last Gaur Mandal Prikram in March 1936 that he attended, said, no matter how far in the future it might be, one of my disciples will cross the ocean and bring back the entire world. So we are living in the movement of Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada's movement, he said, for the next 10,000 years. And this movement will grow and grow and grow more and more. Of only 536 years of the 10,000 years has elapsed. So imagine however many years from now. Narayana Prabhu, I just heard his memory, that Prabhupada said that in Kali Yuga, 10% of the population will automatically become Krishna conscious. And Narayana, he's going, well, Srila Prabhupada, if it's going to happen automatically, 10%, then why do we preach? There's a morning walk, and Prabhupada, he just stopped, he had his cane and wheeled around. He thought, and he said, and he pointed to Narayana, but if you preach, why not 100%? So the play is going to start very soon. So in my mind, I timed everything that I wanted to say, which I'm about 85% pleased that I was able to do in that spirit. So we are now simply going to read, in conclusion, the description of the birth of Lord Krishna from the chapter 3 of the 10th canto. We read this morning for everyone here after Mangal Artik. Thereafter, at the auspicious time for the appearance of the Lord, the entire universe was surcharged with all the qualities of goodness, beauty, and peace. The constellation Rohini appeared, as did stars like Ashvini. The sun, the moon, and the other stars and planets were very peaceful. All directions appeared extremely pleasing, and the beautiful stars twinkled in the cloudless sky. Decorated with towns, villages, mines, and pasturing grounds, the earth seemed all auspicious. The rivers flowed with clear water, and the lakes and vast reservoirs full of lilies and lotuses were extraordinarily beautiful. And the trees and green plants, full of flowers and leaves, pleasing to the eyes, birds like cuckoos and swarms of bees began chanting with sweet voices for the sake of the demigods. A pure breeze began to blow, pleasing the sense of touch and bearing the aroma of flowers. And when the brahmanas, engaged in ritualistic ceremonies, ignited their fires according to Vedic principles, the fires burned steadily, undisturbed by the breeze. So the Brahmins were long harassed in body and mind by the atrocities of the demons, but in the appearance of Lord Krishna, they could perform their most exalted, pure goodness, Brahminical activities without disturbance from the demons. Then, when the birthless Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was about to appear, the saints and Brahmins, who had always been disturbed by demons like Kamsa and his men, felt peace within the core of their hearts, and kettle drums vibrated simultaneously from the upper planetary systems. So this Jamnastami festival is meant to fortify us, to strengthen us, to re-enliven and enthuse us to be real followers of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is the greatest revolutionary that has ever walked the face of this earth. We are expected as his followers to continue with that revolutionary spirit. So our faith has to be resolute and determined to not buy into the illusion of so-called material happiness, which everyone under that influence will be very, very strong, strength in numbers. We're all doing it, so it must be the right thing. Folly to be wise, where ignorance and bliss, hardly one person in 1,000 realizes this. And not only to withstand the onslaught of the atheists, but to convert them to our way of thinking and our mode of life. And especially here in New York City, where Srila Prabhupada targeted to come, and where he launched the entire Krishna consciousness movement from one tiny little storefront in the East Village of New York City. Put it on your t-shirt, 26 Second Avenue, where it all began. It wasn't just a storefront, a former Hollywood memorabilia curiosity shop. It was a sacred place of pilgrimage dedicated to the pastimes of the personality of Godhead, a sacred publishing house where books can be published and distributed all over the world. It was a place where an army of devotees could issue forth and chant the holy names of God in all the streets of the world. So it's not that it just happened 58 years ago, but this New York yatra the place of Sri Sri Radha Govinda, Sri Sri Radha New York Ishvar. Why not? Sri Sri Radha London Ishvar, Sri Sri Paris Ishvar. Arguably saying New York is more important than London and Paris in the world stage. Let us execute Krishna consciousness near, come forth from this Janmastami festival with great enthusiasm and dedication, and especially to keep Harinam Sankirtan strongly vibrating throughout this city, which we've been able to do with some help from many friends for now 12 and a half years. I've personally been a fanatic on Janmastami. I remember one year when we were living in the East Village, we did a 12-hour Harinam in Union Square Park and then retired to the temple at 10 o'clock at night. But we are here today to strengthen the devotee community, and I would like to request humbly and invite everyone who lives in New York City, come visit us in our loneliness any day of the year, especially in the wintertime when it might not be so pleasing to the sense of touch. The pure breeze is blowing. But in the subway, we'll have 50,000 people walk past us in the time that we're doing it. So in a lot of ways, the ecstasy of, what is ecstasy that you experience? That Krishna is pleased with you. So that you can take credit for being part of the team that helped reach 50,000 people a day, every day. That is incredible Daivi Sampad, money, pious, transcendental piety in your spiritual bank account, which will help you to go back home, back to Godhead in style. Hare Krishna. So now, the next part of the program is a transcendental drama, which Mother Shobha Mai will tell us, will give us the introduction.
Janmashtami Festival Mahotsav ki Jai! Radha Govinda Deva ki Jai! So now we are going to start some entertainment program for our Lord and all the Vaishnava and Vaishnavi. So please here they will be dancing. Okay, Hare Krishna, everybody, I know that you got to have a darshan. Please move faster. We have a long line, so please move faster. Yeah, and if our volunteers ask you to move faster, please take that over. So.